Hello viewers, welcome back to race 2 from Monza. This is the GT3 feature race in the team versus team event. So we have Mature Racing Club, NxtGen Racing, P1 and SimFX all fighting for top spot. We're in the ProAm lobby for this one. And we're doing the reverse race grid, so you'll probably be familiar with the format, but I'll give you a brief explanation. The video covering race 1 is the most recent video before this in the channel. We take the results from that race and we flip them upside down basically. So the people at the front were the people who finished at the back last time and vice versa. This is 17 laps as you can see as opposed to 11. The one bit that we were expecting that didn't happen is we normally get only 50 litres starting fuel as opposed to 100. So you can see looking at the bottom that we've got full tanks of fuel. Which we weren't expecting, and to be honest I didn't even see it until I was checking my fuel about 3-4 laps in. So my strategy in this was to jump onto the medium tyres, do a short stint, probably pit end of lap 7 or 8 depending where I was and what everyone else was doing, and then do my longest stint on the softs, which were naturally faster. I kind of had to change that around a little bit because I think it just messed me up a little bit, but there's other things in this race that messed me up, trust me. Well, it's mainly me, but we'll get to that. So looking at the grid then, got Dragon Eagle who had that hilarious disconnect last time round because he rejoined the lobby, then it sticks him at the front. We've got Bigsy joining him on the front row of the grid, Joshington and Viali then on the second row, Cutler, Les, Kun, third row. Fourth row Buddy and Joanna, fifth row me and Dangly Ball, sixth row Robinson and Delhi, and then right at the back is our Australian alien Diablo. So we'll get underway with the action and just sort of see what unfolds. I guess I have watched a little bit of this and made a few notes, but again it might be terrible. This series of course sponsored by DAE, Excite, GT Amiga and Thrustmaster. This is ProAm lobby, and you can check pro coverage over on Dark Smoker's channel. There will be links to all of that in the description below, so just click the little arrow at the bottom of the video, it drops it all down and you can have a read through and see what's what. So let's see how this one unfolds then. We'll just flick up to the guys at the front and see what happens at turn 1, because Monza is basically a couple of long straights with chicanes bolted in to make it interesting. Turn 1 is famous for instance. We see Viali gets a bit of a bad start again. Cutler flies off the line, so does Diablo at the back. So Bigsy getting a terrible start there. Dangly Ball going out to the outside. There's a lot of shuffling around at the back. We will recap this in a second. Kind of critical to my race, I believe. But to be fair, everyone getting through turn 1 absolutely fine. So we'll just pause the action here just a second, just to recap a couple of little things. So let's just go to me. So I'm down in, for some reason it won't let me select me, don't know why. So I'm currently in 10th. So what you're about to see is everyone's bunching up. We're approaching the braking zone, and at this point I've got tons and tons and tons of room to, I think it's Buddy up ahead. There's an acre of room, so I'm not worried at this point, and I'm thinking I'm good. As you can see, the silver car is Diablo, who started right at the back. He had a flyover start. He did actually speak to me about this after the race, so I'm sure he won't mind me covering it. But it is kind of important to how my race sort of unfolded. Here, Diablo has to move across. Viali and I think that's Dangly Ball are going too wide. Diablo kind of had to move across, but in doing that, he sort of reduced my braking. We then approach the braking zone. I'm not on the brakes just yet, but I'm not on the throttle either, so I'm off the throttle. And this is usually at this point where I am looking at how the other cars are doing. I'm judging my braking into turn 1. When you're starting near the back, you just ignore your normal brake markers and you just go off how everything's feeling at the time. And typically 9 times out of 10 I get this absolutely spot on and I don't collide with anyone. In this instance, as you've probably just seen that, in fact I'll replay it from my start perspective. So what you're about to see is Diablo will get an absolute flyover start. He'll shoot beside me. He has to cut in front of me. Doesn't really have much of a choice. Well, he does, but I can see why he did it. And then he has to get on the brakes a little bit early to obviously avoid a collision himself, and that just shunts me into the back of him. I pick up then front aero damage, which I'm gonna have to really carry throughout the rest of this one. Les Kun got reset because he had to take the shortcut, and that's compromised his line. He had to take a shortcut, and the game decided that was too much, and it resets him. Moving up to the front, guys, let's have a look what's going on. So Buddy's running nice up in fourth. Joshington challenging Cutler for a move down into the second chicane. Gets on the brakes a little bit wrong. Smashes into that barrier. That puts Joshington technically into the lead of the race, so can't be too mad on that one. Has he picked up any damage? Yeah, he's got a little bit of a love tap at the rear, so he's got rear aero damage. That's going to unsettle the back of his car. Cutler's running nice in 7th, Virtue in first now, Virtue to that wonderful start he got. Dragon Eagle hasn't really lost too much time. Dragon Eagle at this point backs off and just lets the whole field pass. I don't know why he does that. For me, he didn't really have to. So Cutler at his favourite corner. Ascari. Joshington's getting it a little bit sideways. So that's going to compromise Joshington's speed, and Buddy's going to look for a move. Buddy moves to cut Joanna off. So they're about to get a little bit twisted. Is there contact? There is. There's some contact here, so let's see what this is. I think Buddy was involved in this. So Buddy is chasing after Joshington. He's got his slipstream, but you have to think about the cars behind as well. So he moves across. Joanna taps him in the rear, overspeeds him. Joshington probably makes a little bit early for Buddy's liking there, and there is a bit of a collision. Buddy, ever the sportsman, just wakes up. You know, he's I don't really think, I'm not going to sit here and say he was at fault for that, in all fairness. Buddy realised at this point he's got engine damage and backs off completely, and goes into the pits to get that one fixed. So I can't really apportion any blame to any of the guys. I'm not a steward. I can see certainly why that incident happened. You know, if that was me there, I'd have probably been caught out like before. I have been caught out by stuff like that before, and it does happen. Completely gut wrenching when it does. So as a field streak, as everyone streaks through Curva Grande for the second time. We've got Cutler in the lead, followed closely by Joanna. Viala's having a good race as well so far. He did get a bit of a crappy start, but just Virtue keeping his nose clean. He's doing really well now. Been second after that overtake on Joanna. Dangly Ball running in fourth. Premiums off to really like these cars. Diablo and Deli B 5th and 6th respectively. So we're about to see the next incident, so to speak. So Cutler just gets it a little bit wrong here, and then Joanna's just going to clump him. Joanna is unsighted for this, sort of very similar to what happened to me in the sprint race. So this is what Joanna's view would have been. So nice and early, nowhere near. Gets it right. Then Cutler just obviously, without having the control of his car that he would desire to have, sort of re-enters the track, and Joanna's now got engine damage. Nothing to cover off the back of that is obviously that causes a load of slow cars. So that sort of puts a bit of the background guys, I guess, into a little bit of a kerfuffle. So Kun gets it a bit wrong going off Ascari. Fair play to him, gives him tons of room. Doesn't push me off the track, absolutely tons of room. I do give him a bit of a flash of lights here just to say thanks for that. Appreciate the racecraft shown. That moves me up a couple of positions, get a decent run out of Parabolica, and I'm up into 6th. I'm not expecting to stay there. The reason I'm doing so is I sort of figured out very quickly what Les Kun was doing here. He was basically saving fuel and using me as a fuel saving method. So we overtake each other a little bit. the bit that I just mentioned is going to come up a little bit later on, because that does transpire to be something. Let me just see what's going on my notes. So yeah, that's your race as it stands at the minute. I'm up in 7th. I'm quite happy where I am. I've got a little bit of front aero damage, but because I'm saving fuel at the same time, I'm not really pushing the car too much, so I'm not feeling this that badly. Don't get me wrong, Parabolica, Curva Grande, the car is out, but the car is pushing. But it's not absolutely killing my race, so I decide to just do my normal job and ignore it, so to speak. So I'm casually fuel saving, and I'm sort of aiming at this point, thinking if I go long on my first stint now, so if I extend my first stint to like 9-10 laps, then I can have a really fast sort of last stint on the softs and hopefully make a couple of moves. That's kind of my thought process. Joshington leading the race at one point. He's got a little bit of rear end damage after that incident earlier. Buddy's had to pit to repair his car. Same for Joanna, and Cutler's had to pit as well. Dragon Eagle has pitted. Well, I don't know why, but he has pitted. So let's see what happens in a few laps time. So we've resumed the action a couple of laps later. Deli made a little bit of a mistake earlier on this lap, and that's cost him a couple of places and put him in the clutches of Les Kun. I'm in the background. Les Kun's managed to drop me off a little bit. But again, I'm not really too worried about that. The second I lost the slipstream, I stopped pushing to try and get it, because the SLS, well, everything's faster than the BMW on this track, so it was just down to some attention for me. So there's a couple of battles going on track. There is the battle between Les Kun and Deli, which we're watching now, and then there's a battle between Robinson and Diablo as they go side by side for Parabolica. Robinson gets the run out there. Deli and Les Kun going forward the main straight, so Kun's going to have full bore slipstream coming into turn 1, pulls out the slipstream, gets the overspeed going, and he's going to get that move done very nicely into the first turn, very nicely on the brakes, nice and respectful by both guys. Robinson and Diablo up ahead, also going at it. The GTR is really good on fuel. I think the Mercs had to fuel save a little bit to extend the first stint. I think the GTRs were just revving the nuts off and they were absolutely fine. So they really are a car suited to this, as Robinson just gets a little bit wrong. And it's going to put Diablo all over the back end of him. Through the Lesmos, difficult to make a move around here. It can be done, but it's a very, very high risk move to make. So Robinson's going to tuck himself back to the racing line, potentially look to defend this one. Coming into Ascari, Diablo doesn't make that move. Les Kun and Deli B still going for it. I am just running my race. I've got a massive gap to Buddy behind. So at this minute I'm just focusing on putting in some consistent lap times. Buddy himself has got Joanna for company. So these two might come together a little bit later on. Cutler, after the earlier incident, is running down in 10th. He did fuel a little bit in that stop, so I think he's just looking to extend, put a long soft stint, and he might even be going to the end. In fact, no, he won't. He can't be, surely, with that amount of fuel. Unless he massively fuel saves, I don't really know. Dragon Eagle's going to have to pit again, looking at his fuel, and so is Joshington. So there's a couple of pit stops going to get underway. What we'll probably do is Dangler Bug gets a little bit wrong what happened there. Oh, Dangler, what are you doing, mate? So Dangler down into turn 1, very nice and easy, but because you're typically starting in a low gear, traction out of this corner is very difficult to get right. Dangler Ball does get that wrong, a couple of people did. make unforced errors there, and that's just going to cost him second place as Diablo breezes past, and potentially cook his tyres a little bit as well. That might also bring Delhi into the fold. I've caught up to Les Kun because of Les Kun had an issue coming out the same corner as well. So I'm going to chuck a move up. The opportunity arose. I wouldn't have gone for it unless I genuinely thought I had pace at this stage. So yeah, I did go for that one. The temptation was to sit and fuel save behind him, but to be fair, I didn't really need to. I wasn't after fuel saving at this particular point, so I knew I had enough fuel to make my stint. I could have probably saved myself a bit of pit time by doing so. Is that a lesson learned? Maybe. But if we just look at Les Kun, he can just go off the throttle really early, and he's just coasting. He's saving an absolute bucket load of fuel being sat behind me, because I'm basically pulling him along in the straights, and he can just get off the throttle nice and early. So he's still in my slipstream here. Changing up to the highest gear as soon as possible. He'll probably come off the throttle really early and coast as well. He doesn't do that, but he probably just gets the back end a little bit wide. But yeah, Les can just sit and fuel save now. He doesn't necessarily have to worry about his own pace. So obviously he can gain time on the guys up ahead that he's actually in a fight with by using me. A hole in the air for him right now. So the BMW is probably the weakest in the straight line, which will probably cost him in all fairness. He will lose a few tenths a lap based on that, but he'll probably save enough fuel by doing so to gain that time back in the pits, probably, and then some. So fifth for me right now is pretty decent. Let's catch up with this when the pit stops are all done and dusted. Lap 10 then. Most guys have pitted. Vialli's extending his stint. A couple of guys behind, so the top four haven't yet pitted. So Les Kun's been fuel saving behind me the entire time. So this is where my race unfolds. I was doing quite well at this point. I was quite happy with how my race was going, but I made an error that you're about to see. I think I felt some sympathy pains with my mate Vialli as he gets a little bit of a wobble on, and then coming around Les Mode 2 just gets it on the slippy stuff, and that's given him engine damage. It's kind of like dangly ball up. I am then I've actually dispatched him. He made a mistake a little bit earlier in the lap, and I dispatched him now. That's why, but in fact we'll review this because that looks bad from my angle, so we'll just go on board with Les Kun. He's yeah, 2 seconds behind, so I re-enter the track. I haven't got enough time to dip over to the racing line because at this point Les would only have to dip to the inside anyway, so I decided just take the normal line. But because of that, I'm panicking a little bit, and don't forget I've got dirty tyres. So right at this minute in time, I give it the beans just a little bit too early, and I spin it bang into the wall, and that gives me engine damage, which I am fuming about. A load of cars then streak past me. I'm running slow in the background. I've got no speed at all in this car. It was like a bag of spanners. So I'm going to have to pit now. It's probably, I would plan on pitting the end of this lap anyway, to be fair, so it doesn't matter that. But it's going to cost me a bucket load of time. Definitely cost me being in contention for anything anywhere near the podium. Anything top 5, I think I was out now. Because where I had the accident was just going to lose me too much time, basically. So a few more pit stops going on. Let's skip it forward a little bit. See how this one pans out for them. So I'm just going to give you a bit of a Monza lap guide, I guess. You'll know Monza if you're remotely familiar with any motorsport ever. It's a very famous circuit, of course, a real life one based in Italia. At this minute in time we're chasing down Cutler a bit too far back to get the slipstream. So, braking, 150 metre board, brake around that, depends on your tyre wear and your loading. So cut as much of that first part of the chicane as you can, but avoid the sausage curb on the left. Gentle on the power on the way out. Seeing a lot of guys getting that wrong. Coming through Curva Grande, I tend to just sweep this through. Depends if I'm fighting the car or not, it depends on the line I'll take. I tend to go mid-track, then come right back over to the right. Ready for Variante delle Roggia. I think that's how you spell it. Go over the sausages, get your power down as soon as you feel comfortable into the first of the two little lesmos. So both of these lesmos are sort of cambered curves, so you can carry more speed through these than you feel like you can. Use as much of that green Astro on the left as possible, get two wheels fully on the green stuff and then run it all the way out again, carrying as much speed through as you can. Coming down under the old banking then, up towards Ascari. I know that Cutler does take this slowly, so I'm sort of expecting to pick up the back end of his car around here. I'm on fresh rubber now, so I'm really pumping in good lap times. I'm not fuel saving either, I've fueled adequately to the end, so I'm going as quick as I can now. Coming down towards Parabolic, I'm getting a little bit of slipstream. Stamping on the brakes about 75 metres. Cut in for a nice early apex and then run the car all the way out. As you've seen if you watch the F1, there's that sausage curb there that they removed. And just run it through for a lap of Monza. For me that was a 1:47.5, which isn't a bad lap in the BMW to be really honest. Recap of the field then, Dangliball doing a brilliant job in P1. Currently holding the fastest lap of the race, 1:47.1, but he is being tailed all the way by Diablo. So both guys have made all the pit stops. Pretty much everyone's made the pit stops now and are going to the end. Deli's having another great race in third. NGR Robinson running in fourth at the minute, but closely followed by Big Les Cum, we had that little tangle with earlier on. Buddy's not too far behind this one either, doing a good job in sixth. Viali is a little bit back from that action, but has got a big gap to Joe Winner, running in 8th. Cutler has got me all over him. I'll come back to our little battle in a second. Got me running in 10th. Obviously I had that spin. Without that I felt I could have been a lot higher up than I was. And Dragon Eagle and Joshington are in 11th and 12th respectively. So a little battle between me and Cutler starts to ensue here. Cutler is an accomplished karter, and if I'm going to have a bit of a tangle with anyone, I kind of don't want it to be him because I know he's going to defend me really well. He's in the Merc, which is a fast car, so I don't really get I get a slipstream on the straights, but he's just generally in a faster straight line car than I am, so I'm not going to be going fast enough at the end of the straight to take advantage of my slipstream. I might get better traction coming out of corners, but given it's not really a handling circuit, I've not got corners to make that advantage stick. So at this minute in time then, he's obviously just going defensive. I think this is a lap that I do have a bit of a go at him. Or this is either the lap that I have a good bit of a go at him here, I think. As you can see though, he's got enough of a gap coming out of the traction zones because of that speed advantage to not really have to worry about me too much. Just go on board with me. Let's go on that view. So we avoid contact there. He gets on the brakes a lot earlier than I sort of expect him to, but that sacrifices my exit speed out of the corner, and now I'm massively behind. I'm sort of thinking at this point there's a potential for him to not take Ascari that well. I was taking Ascari really well throughout the entire race, and I was doing a lot better than a lot of the GTRs and stuff through that corner. But knowing that then he would probably just overtake me again coming down towards Parabolica. So again, braking into Ascari nice and late, running my speed through. Look at how much we gain through there alone. Get on the power nice and early and get back into a slipstream in order to close up. I didn't want to make a move at Parabolica, that wasn't ever going to be a planned move. If the opportunity arose, I'd probably take it. But I guess at this point, yeah, I wanted that 9th position. More points the merrier, of course. But I knew Cutler wasn't going to make it easy for me to get past him. So obviously he's a good couple of attempts ahead at this point. Will close in by the end of the straight, but he just puts his car in the right place. I go really late on the brakes. I was then going to switch him back, but he just got really good traction out of the corner and knew it wasn't going to happen. So again, I choose at this time, I think, I might just settle down. Yeah, I want to try and make him think that I've given up. No, he's not that stupid, but you never know. Could always try it. So we're really close again as we come through the handling sections. I'm just able to get on the brakes a lot later than he is. I'm carrying a little less fuel. I've got more wear on my tyres, but that doesn't really, it's a kind of I was able to get on the brakes a fair bit later in my car than he was for some reason. I was conscious of that. I didn't want to end up whacking him off track, especially at Ascari where I know he was taking it a fair bit steadier than I was. With no cars around us to put us off, it is just me versus him. I pull out of the slipstream now. My aim here is the traditional parabolic cutback, so I want to force him to a narrow line to sacrifice his speed, and I was going to cut him back. So what happened there is Cutler did just outbrake himself. We'll go back and have another look at that. So we'll go on board with Cutler and we'll see what he saw. So obviously mirrors full of BMW, and he keeps his line, which I fully expected him to keep the insides. My plan was to cut him back and get him up the main straight. He just braked too late. I'm about to keep it on track, but then just gets a little bit on the loud pedal, and around he goes. So now then, I'm solidly in life, no cars around me, and I can just bring this one home. Let's see what's happening with the aliens up front. And Dangly Balls dropped Diablo by quite a considerable amount. Diablo himself has dropped GT Jelly B by quite a considerable amount. Buddy has got past Lex Gun somewhere. This is a very close battle for 4th, involving Robinson and Joanna as well. Joanna's just a little bit back from this pack actually. Viali's not a risk from anyone because I'm miles behind. Cutler's recovered now. Dragon Eagle's running 11th in the Ferrari. The Tifosi probably won't be too happy with that one. And Joshington 12th. Just getting lapped by a couple of cars, unfortunately. So we'll just watch guys as they come streaming around Parabolic for the 17th and final time in the GT3 feature race. So a very good job by Dangly Ball. I was actually quite happy he won. So he does well to bring home the feature race win. Diablo, who won the sprint race. Solid round of points for Diablo as well. Delhi bringing home a well-earned 3rd. But he's going to come home in 4th. Is he after serving his penalty? And Les Kun going to bring 5th. Robinson 6th. Joe Wiener in 7th. Viali in 8th. Myself just going around parabolic for the final time. Just on the limit of fuel. Cutler's going to solidify his the last spot in the top 10. And the Tifosi's favourite Dragon Eagle is going to give us an 11th place finish in this GT3 team vs team feature race. So that's it then for round 2, sprint and feature race covered, done, dusted. Teams now make their way over to Austria and the Red Bull Ring. Weather forecasts say we're going to have a lot of rain next week, so we're expecting wet weather conditions at the Red Bull Ring. A bit of a shout out to our sponsors, of course. So this league sponsored by DAE, David Appleby Engineering. Last year's winners, ProAm and the commentator for the Pro League, Dark Smoker. They are actually at the British GT as a reward for ProAm winning that last year. I'm going to join them tomorrow, but I'm going as a hospitality guest of Assetto Motorsport in the Ginetta series, so I probably will be in a different bit. Other sponsors to make note of are Excite energy drinks. You'll see their logo on the side of my car. GT Amiga, there's one of their logos on there somewhere as well, and Frostmaster. So they're the sponsors for the league. Like I say, this is a Pro-Am league, so I do the coverage post-race for Pro-Am guys. The pros get live swear-free commentary by Dark Smoker. So there'll be a link to his channel in the description below. Their races for this league were very interesting. So for this race, a Monza, go and check out the Monza stream that Dark Smoker put up, because he commentates over it all, and it was chaotic. There's been a few movements in terms of positions and stuff like that as well. So the organisers of the league do an absolutely brilliant job of running it. I can't give them enough credit, because it is a lot. There were a couple of penalties handed out following incidents in this race as well. I think there's a few still under investigation. So coming into Pro-Am, we're going to have Perzel, NGR E30 and Janbu. They'll be coming down from Pro, and being promoted to Pro are going to be Diablo, Saxo and Delhi. So 3 very fast drivers will be going up to compete with the creme de la creme. So yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday for that, and I will see you all then. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch you next time. Bye bye.